For thousands of years, one land in the Middle East has stood at the crossroads of civilization, a land of ancient cities, powerful kings, and a culture older than many modern nations. That land was once called Persia. Today, we know it as Iran, a country with a history that stretches back more than 2,000 years. A country that once controlled one of the largest empires the world had ever seen. And a country that today stands at the center of some of the most important geopolitical conflicts on Earth. But recently, a question has begun appearing in headlines, political debates, and global discussions. A question that sounds dramatic, almost shocking. Is this the beginning of the end for Iran? To understand why people are asking this question, we must first look back into history. Because Iran is not just another nation created in the modern world. Its roots go deep into ancient civilization. Thousands of years ago, the Persian Empire rose to power under the leadership of Cyrus the Great. Cyrus built an empire unlike anything the world had seen before. His territory stretched across 3 continents, from the eastern Mediterranean to Central Asia and parts of North Africa. Persia became known not only for its military strength, but also for its administration, architecture, and culture. Road networks connected distant cities. Trade routes brought wealth and knowledge. And Persian influence shaped the development of many early civilizations. But history is never permanent. Empires rise, and eventually they fall. Over centuries, Persia faced invasions, internal struggles, and political transformations. Yet despite all those changes, Persian civilization survived. It adapted, evolved, and eventually transformed into the modern nation we now call Iran. Fast forward to the 20th century, Iran once again found itself standing at a historic crossroads. During this period, the country was ruled by a monarchy led by Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. The Shah attempted to modernize the country through economic development, industrial expansion, and close relationships with Western powers. Some parts of society benefited from these reforms. Cities grew rapidly, industries expanded, but many people also felt that the changes were happening too quickly and without the support of ordinary citizens. Political freedom was limited, opposition voices were often suppressed, and economic inequality began to grow. Over time, dissatisfaction spread through many parts of Iranian society. Students, workers, religious leaders, and ordinary citizens began to protest. By the late 1970s, the protests had grown massive. Millions of people filled the streets across the country. The monarchy struggled to control the growing unrest. And eventually, in 1979, everything changed. This moment became known as the Iranian Revolution. The monarchy collapsed, and a new political system was established under the leadership of Ruhollah Khomeini. Iran officially became an Islamic republic. The revolution reshaped the country's government, its laws, and its role in international politics. And from that moment forward, Iran's relationship with many Western nations began to change dramatically. One of the countries most affected by this shift was the United States. Relations between Iran and the United States quickly became hostile. Diplomatic ties were cut, economic sanctions were introduced, and decades of political tension began. These sanctions were designed to pressure Iran economically and politically, but over time, they also created major challenges for the Iranian economy. Despite having vast natural resources, especially oil and natural gas, Iran has struggled to fully benefit from its wealth. Sanctions have limited its ability to sell oil freely on global markets. International companies often avoid investing in the country. Banking restrictions make it difficult for Iranian businesses to operate internationally. As a result, Iran's economy has faced long periods of instability. Inflation has risen sharply. The national currency has lost much of its value, and the cost of everyday life has increased dramatically for millions of ordinary citizens. These economic struggles are not abstract political issues. They are daily realities. Food prices rise. Rent becomes harder to pay. Jobs become more difficult to find. Young graduates often struggle to secure stable employment. And for many families, the future feels uncertain. Economic frustration has sometimes turned into public protest. Over the past decade, demonstrations have appeared in many cities across Iran. Some protests were sparked by rising fuel prices, others by political grievances or social restrictions. Students, Workers and citizens gathered in streets and public squares. They demanded reforms, economic opportunities, and greater freedoms. The government responded with security measures to maintain stability. Authorities sometimes restricted internet access during periods of unrest. These events attracted global attention and sparked intense debate about the country's future. But internal unrest is only one part of Iran's story, because Iran is also a key player in the complex geopolitics of the Middle East. Iran maintains strong influence in several countries across the region. Its alliances extend into places such as Syria, Iraq, and Lebanon. Supporters argue that these alliances help Iran defend its strategic interests. Critics argue that they increase tensions and conflicts across the region. Regardless of perspective, Iran's regional influence is undeniable, and this influence has created intense rivalry with several countries. One of the most significant rivalries is with Israel. Relations between Iran and Israel are extremely tense. Political leaders exchange warnings and accusations. Military planners closely watch each other's movements. Cyber operations, intelligence missions, and strategic competition have all been reported between the two sides. These tensions have contributed to a broader climate of instability across the Middle East. Another major issue shaping Iran's global relationships is its nuclear program. Iran has developed nuclear technology for decades. Iranian leaders insist that the program is designed for peaceful purposes such as energy production and scientific advancement. However, many countries remain concerned that the technology could eventually lead to nuclear weapons. Because of these concerns, years of diplomatic negotiations took place between Iran and major world powers. In 2015, these negotiations resulted in a major agreement known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. The agreement aimed to limit Iran's nuclear activities in exchange for relief from economic sanctions. For a short time, the deal appeared to reduce tensions, but political changes eventually weakened the agreement. Sanctions returned, and once again, Iran found itself facing intense international pressure. Today, Iran stands in one of the most complex periods of its modern history. The country faces economic hardship, political disagreements, regional rivalries, and international sanctions. All of these pressures combined have led some analysts to ask whether Iran is approaching a major turning point. But history reminds us of something important. Iran has survived extraordinary challenges before: ancient invasions, colonial pressure, wars, revolutions. Each time, the country adapted and endured. Its institutions remain powerful, its military remains strong, and its population remains resilient. So the real question may not be whether Iran will disappear. The real question is how Iran will transform in the years ahead. Will economic reforms stabilize the nation? Will diplomatic negotiations reduce international tensions? Or will new conflicts reshape the region once again? No one can predict the future with certainty. But one fact remains clear. The future of Iran will influence the entire Middle East, and possibly the world. Because Iran is not just a country. It is a civilization with deep history, vast resources, and enormous geopolitical importance. Whatever happens next, the consequences will reach far beyond its borders. And that is why governments, analysts, and ordinary citizens around the world continue to watch Iran closely, waiting, observing, and asking one question again and again. Is this the end of Iran, or simply the beginning of a new chapter in its long and powerful history?